Welcome in to a Thursday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live here from the UDL, driven and presented by Go Chevrolet. Shout out to the crew, Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXchevrolet.com. Located out in LaPlace, Louisiana for brand new cars. Used car lots are set up over here in Baton Rouge in the corner of Sherwood Forest and Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales, easy to find. Easiest way to shop all the inventory is Go Chevrolet, GEAUXchevrolet.com. We will talk to Brody Miller today, as we got a lot of people moving around today. Nick Underhill, a little under the weather, as he will be out this weekend. And Megan Making Money is traveling up to Chicago for the weekend, so we will be out of touch with her this morning. But we will talk to Brody Miller coming up here at 7:30 this morning and get the latest on LSU football, as he's got a good piece over there at The Athletic looking at John Emery's situation, which looks like it could get some type of resolution today or tomorrow at the latest. It seems like it will be heard today in front of the NCAA Appeals Committee and will possibly come down with a decision within the next 8 to 10 hours or without question in the next 24 hours. We'll talk to Brody on what's anticipated there. Also, some of the storylines around LSU going into Starkville this weekend. Ed Ogeron had his radio show. Noah was over there last night. We'll get some of the room, some of the thoughts, some of the sounds that were coming out of TJ Ribbs for Coach O's weekly press conference or weekly radio show, as one caller called in and congratulated Ogeron for finally going over 500 on his record since pulling out of New Orleans with the national championship. I really thought that the guy was being complimentary, though. Like, I don't think that he was trolling him. I mean,
they saw it was like, way to get over the hump type from your hangover's finally over.
Yes, I mean, like it seems like it's a troll call, and it's a good angle for a troll to set up shop and get to the coach on his weekly call-in show. But I really think the guy that was making the call was like trying to be like,
legit compliment.
Yeah, like legitimately,
sincere.
like it really is a milestone, Coach. I mean, congratulations, you finally.
What do you even say? Thank you?
You
Sure.
can see it in his face, man. I mean, he's just like, oh, God.
Fight you through the phone.
Yes. Where's your camp?
Here, Fushots want to say congrats, Coach.
We will talk to Brody Miller coming up here at 7:30 this morning. We'll ask Brody about some of the stories going in there. There are rumors flying around with the health status of Derek Stingley Jr. We have nothing to report on that. Nothing from the program. And nothing official. It does seem like there is some smoke around the situation of Stingley Jr., but nothing that we can say definitively on where his status will be on Saturday. We will wait and see what happens here. Ogeron only scheduled to talk to the media one more time before he and LSU head out to Starkville, so I imagine that he will be pressed on Stingley's status the next time that he is open to the public. But there is nothing official out there that says that he left practice yesterday or that his status is in question for Saturday. So if we find out anything and there's anything to report officially, we will obviously bring it to you, the listeners. What we can say is, if that is the case, that would be tough to overcome, and this would probably be the worst weekend for that to happen. When you think about the pressure that Mike Leach and Mississippi State's offense is going to put on LSU's defense, just after what you know and you saw last season, but obviously with the plan and the attack that Mike Leach is known for. We'll get into all of that with Brody Miller coming up here in a couple of minutes. Remember, daily we are brought to you by Go Chevrolet. Our coffee is brought to you by Majestic Brews. That is locally brewed down here in South Louisiana. Find coffee online, find Majestic coffee online at delicioussips.com. True Blue Water is also a part of our show today, and you can also get in touch with True Blue Water online at trubluewater.com, trubluewater.com. Our official spice is Papa Earl's. Papa Earl's has 30% less sodium than the competition. So if you want to pick up a new spice today, if you've not tried out Papa Earl's, get them anywhere locally you shop. Rouse's, High Neighbor, Calandro's, all of the stores that have their that have the options there. Pick up Papa Earl's. And our phone guest today, which is Brody Miller is going to be here via compliments of Metropolitan Health Group. Real doctors, real solutions. Metropolitan Health Group. Get in touch with Charlie Harvey, Jason Ramazan, and the crew at Metropolitan Health Group. What was the room like?
Well, Jack actually went last night.
Did he?
Yes.
But the social media coming out.
Yes.
Packed house.
Yeah.
Another full board of calls for Coach O. But we will learn what the status is of hopefully John Emery is over the next 24 hours.
He may have posted a little something on Instagram. It was up and then it was gone. He said, I'm back. But I think it got taken down rather quickly. But when you snoop on these kids' Instagram, they'll let you know real quick.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best sources.
It really
for sure.
is, because they're like, you shouldn't do that. He's
right.
like, oh, do I have to take it down? It's like, yes, okay. It's not official yet.
So hopefully the news is as Emery sees it, and it's positive for LSU, and they can get him back. If not for the team's sake, at least for his sake, man. I mean, John Emery, what a roller coaster ride it has been for him. Since landing at LSU and where they are now. So it will be just at least relieving to hear what his status is going to be moving into the future. If he's going to be eligible, if he's not going to be eligible, he seems to think that he's probably going to be eligible. I think Don Jackson, who's the lawyer for
Emery,
for John Emery, seems to believe that they've got enough evidence of hardship built up that they can bring in front of the NCAA. They've got historical cases that they are relating this to and putting this up against, in which the hardships were not as dire as what Emery has faced over the last year and a half. So hopefully Emery can get some good news. I don't know what it does to LSU football as far as offensively making them any better. When you talk about adding Emery and possibly losing Stingley, the loss of Stingley, I think definitely devastates you more. And that may be a very obvious statement, but I mean, when you're talking about John Emery, I mean, going into the season, you're talking about the starting running back.
Five-star guy that you thought would certainly be contributing by now, but you say you don't see where he fits in. I can see him, what they've been trying to do with Ty Davis-Price, especially early on. It looks like that was part of what John Emery's role was going to be, whether it was him motioning from wide receiver back into the backfield, or, doing some stuff like that with motion and, RPOs, all of that stuff that Emery does well, which is just to get him in space. There's certainly a role there for him that might look a little different, because Ty Davis-Price is not that guy. You don't want to send him out as a wide receiver and have, he's not a threat. Emery, if you can, match him up with the corner, match him up with a linebacker and get him in space, that's a threat. And he can, if he can work on pass catching, it seems like that's all he's been able to do. I think there's a role for him there where it could make the offense look a little different.
Yeah, no, I think his skill set is definitely much invited. I mean, he's a guy with speed and agility and skills that definitely is a threat to a defense. This offensive line has not shown that they can open up run lanes for anybody back there. There has been an emphasis over the last at least game or possibly last two games to get outside in the run attack and try to get to the sideline. And that would be John Emery's, that would be advantage Emery with his speed and his ability to get out and run in the open field. So I don't know. I hope that the positive news, the good news is, I hope the news is good and positive for John Emery. But like I said, the immediate, the weight of the punch of Emery returning, I wonder how much that will infuse some energy into this offense, even though last weekend was a very energetic performance by the offense against Central Michigan, with the way that they handled that game, the way that they play called that game, the way that they executed. I hope that they are looking to build off of what they made last weekend, and then obviously adding Emery to the mix could be nothing but a huge addition to the LSU offense. So we'll wait and see today. Today will be possibly some good news coming down for LSU, the offense, and John Emery, and then you'll wait and see on what the possibility of Derek Stingley is. I think that you'll get some news over the next couple of hours, or at least the next 24 hours. You will know the status of the All-American cornerback Derek Stingley, who, just as we said, smoke everywhere, flying People are calling, texting, wanting to know what's going on with Derek Stingley, as there has been just hearsay, rumors, nothing official, that he was not at practice or left practice on Wednesday, and his status for this weekend and moving forward could be up in the air. We'll see.
How does that happen?
As far as what?
How did it get out? Like the fact that he even left practice, or like who was there that could report that would put it in the public?
It was closed to the media yesterday.
I think it was open, but it was like, I think they had 10 minutes
So
available.
So it's not like if he was hurt, they wouldn't have put him on the practice field for a media session, and then you wouldn't have been able to see him walk away with his helmet in his hand.
There's 105 players. There's
One number 7.
85 staff members, assistants, all types of levels of jobs within that building. Somebody somewhere has a relationship outside the building that
All
can
it takes
start
is
wildfire.
One player telling a friend, and then
Or one social media post.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not the only person that saw that John Emery post.
Right.
You're not the only one that recognized it came down after he said it. Right? I mean, it's in this town, covering LSU football, there is so much crossover or so much interest that, especially around a kid like Stingley, if one person tells another person and they're sitting in a room of 5 people and they start texting and tweeting and asking and DMing and asking questions, that's going into a room of 10 people. That room of 10 people is going into a room of 20 people. That 20 people is now talking to 40 people. I mean, and the next thing you know, everybody around town is asking, what the hell is going on with Derek Stingley? Is he going to play? Did he leave practice? Is he hurt? What's the situation? I mean, and that is how that stuff starts. That's how, and it's not just with this Stingley situation. I mean, we've seen it time and time again where coaches want to hide stuff or try to, keep stuff capped, and there's too many people. There's too much access, even for, people that they try to limit the access to. There's too many smart people out there, like Jacques. If Jacques goes out to practice, he's going to recognize Stingley's not there, and he's going to start making calls. And if he's, creeping around, not creeping around, but if he's snooping around and he's looking for, I mean, the odds are, if there's some smoke there, there's probably a spark and some fire somewhere. So, I mean, that's how that stuff works. I mean, that's how that world operates. And, we were talking, Noah and I went to LSU basketball practice last week. I mean, you can see the confinement of that program within a half court, right? I mean, you couldn't put the LSU football staff, players, the entire in that practice facility, on that basketball floor, just because there's so many people. I mean, it's easier for a guy like Will Wade. It's easier for someone like Beth Torina. It's easier for a guy like Jay Johnson to keep his stuff pretty airtight. You know what I mean? Like, you really have to dig around and ask some questions if some stuff's going on in Kim Mulkey's program to find out if one of their key players hadn't been at practice or, she's not going to play. With a kid like Stingley at LSU football in front of 200 people probably?
Easily. Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? The rumor is that he left the practice field and didn't finish practice. I guarantee you it started by somebody on that practice field texting a buddy or somebody, a family member, saying Seven just bailed out. Seven just had to leave practice. And people are saying, just boom, 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 boom. I mean,
speculation runs wild.
Absolutely.
After that.
Remember that game that you used to play with a kid where you got people,
yeah,
people that say by the time it gets back to you, I mean, all the details are.
Derek Stingley's playing quarterback.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's that world. I mean, that's the world. And
yeah, it just seems like with those, you could have, like, I don't understand the scope and the breadth of the football program, but it seems like you could almost narrow it down to a basketball team of 8 guys you really don't want anything getting out if something was to have happened. Like, you'd want to be able to keep that kind of tight-lipped, but I think Baton Rouge and LSU and the thirst for knowledge that people don't have.
And there's just too much interest.
Yeah. Right. The intrigue is there.
There's just too much intrigue. There's too many people that are curious and wanting to know. And then if they find out information like Derek Stingley could be out, they sprint with that. You know what I mean? Like they are
don't care if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the first one
guess what I heard?
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like it's
Becky Kasusan last night.
Right, exactly.
He should have seen it.
Exactly.
Tongue.
That's exactly what it is. So, we'll wait and see. Hopefully, we'll have some type of status update on Stingley here over the next 24 hours. But you'll know on Saturday as LSU is going to kick this thing off versus Mississippi State at 11 o'clock in the morning. And, with or without Stingley, they are going to have their hands full defensively because, just of what Mike Leach and who Mike Leach is and what that program is and the demons that they really brought out of LSU a year ago in that opener in defense of that national championship. I mean, I think that's a game that you'll always recall with this Mississippi State series as being one that is very embarrassing, as the sense of, it just felt like he was beating you. Mike Leach, that is, beating LSU football was just some backyard stuff. And then he gets into the post game and said, we only ran 5 plays. I mean, we just kept running the same play over and over again, and they couldn't stop it. And now, potentially with one of the best defensive backs in college football, his status up in the air, that puts more pressure on LSU to see what's going to happen on Saturday. Remember, Daily, we were brought to you by Falaya Real Estate. Our friend over at Falaya Real Estate, Barrett Blondo, has done an incredible job of changing the narrative, changing the way that people kind of view and think about selling and buying real estate within the capital city. Everything is online. It's selling your house by yourself, and you can save thousands. It's do it yourself for selling your house. Welcome to the empowered day of real estate. You get exposure on MLS, Zillow, Realtor.com, all the major sites. You got push-button offers, document automation with e-sign that you can get over. If you like doing things yourself, if you want to save some money, then you got to check out Falaya Real Estate. As we said, it's do it yourself for selling your house. For more information, visit Falaya.com or download the app in Google Play or Apple Store today for more information on Falaya. I got asked so many times yesterday about what I thought about the Eli Manning and the Ed Ogeron meeting at LSU.
You're carrying that torch, brother. That's your cross to bear.
I had no idea that I had branded myself as such the
fun hater.
Yeah,
you're the
right.
Fun
Good
you're not.
God, golly, I hate that I'm that guy.
You're a fun guy.
Buzzkill.
Total buzzkill.
I can't wait if they lose to Mississippi State to be like, and we're going with the shirt again.
Well, I mean, you know what? I'm not
you can't help it.
I'm not even here to bang on it anymore. You know what I mean? It's like talk about building a brand.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I mean, the guy has built a brand of, I mean, you want me to take my shirt off? I'll take my shirt off. You don't have to ask me. You know what I mean?
The guy at the party.
Somebody takes, you know what I mean?
This is normal poker.
I mean, I think you take it off 3 times in the show.
Yeah. Before we get to going on that, Eli looked great.
Eli looks great.
He looks better than he did in the NFL.
Eli is a sneaky winner throughout this whole thing. Like the Monday Night Football gig.
Nepotism.
I mean, just kind of this deal with ESPN and the college football format. I mean, he is sneaky funny. I mean, I thought the Tony Romo dig on Peyton the other night.
That's that dry humor.
It's just very dry. It's very quick-witted.
Right.
I mean, he keeps you on your toes.
It's youngest brother syndrome.
It is very much.
Very
much. And he's not intending, like, he can go at Peyton. The Heisman stuff. You know what I mean? Like in the building yesterday. I mean, and Peyton kind of embraces it, but I mean, like the forehead thing when the Monday Night Football with the helmet on the Baltimore Ravens in the Raiders game.
And Peyton almost sets himself up for something. He's like, I can't talk with this helmet on. It doesn't fit. He's like, well, no shit, Peyton. It doesn't XXL.
Right.
He takes the helmet off and immediately he has the red mark again. It's just a permanent scarlet letter for Peyton Manning.
But I thought it was fantastic as far as like just the promotion of LSU football goes. I mean, it was really kind of a love letter of LSU football to the nation. I mean, you got to see the facilities, you got to see the area, you got to really kind of understand a little bit about the program through some Manning's eyes, right? Like I thought it was cool to have Eli and Peyton on LSU's campus, going back and forth with Ogeron. And I thought it was really a good showing for LSU's football program. I think people are, laughing at Ed Ogeron around the country. I mean, I think that they're looking at that being like, this guy's a fool, man. I mean, like, how does anybody take this cat serious? You know what I mean? Like, it's And, you know, from my point of view at this point, you almost just have to stick back and laugh at it. Just stand back and be like, it's a brand. I mean, that's who he is.
Right, I think
he's not going to change it.
And if you do it enough, it just becomes, you know, something that you're used to seeing, and he's very much there where you're like, oh, that's not surprising.
Right.
If you saw another coach, you'd be like, oh my God, they got him to take his shirt off. But with it's like, hell yeah, he's going to take his shirt off.
Dan Mullen is like, shirtless right now on ESPN with the Mannings.
Like, you can't take Greg McElwain deep sea fishing. He would be like, I'm not getting on a boat with a fish again. Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
I don't want that to be my brand. And Coach O's like, oh yeah, I'm ripping the shirt off. Right.
Do I even need to wear a shirt?
I mean, right. Do you have to have a shirt for service here?
Can you imagine if he just sat there the whole interview just shirtless? He's like, I figured we'd get here eventually.
So, you know, I mean, it is what it is at this point from LSU football standpoint. But I thought that the program, the showing off of LSU football, was very attractive through that show. You know what I mean? Like the facilities, the history, you know, some of the, you know, just the stories of what make LSU football great. And, you know, I mean, the head coach's public relations has been a disaster for a long time. Why should we believe that it would be any different now?
Yeah, you don't know, and I wonder how long ago they cut that. You know, I'm sure
it was probably a summer.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't have, this was before this has already happened. Right. You know, so now that they're replaying it, I'm sure he's like, PR is like, oh, we have that Manning thing out there that they're gonna run at some point, and we did the thing, and now the thing's the thing, and we'll have to hear about it again. Like after it all settled down, you know, and then it all starts rolling back to you.
The worst part is that you didn't know that the thing was a thing when it was really a thing.
Right.
You know what I
now
mean?
Would
like,
be a thing.
I mean, now it's not really a big thing because everybody's been looking at it for so long. You know what I mean? Like it's gone and past now. I mean, that's who you are. You know, so
you got out ahead of it.
All right, we will be back here. We're going to talk to Brody Miller. The latest on John Emery, Don Jackson, the lawyer. Brody's got a one-on-one and an update from Jackson on his latest write-up over at The Athletic. What's it mean if John Emery comes back? What type of impact do you expect him to really have on the offense if he is cleared to go once the NCAA hears his hardship today and should rule on it over the next 24 hours at some point? Remember, A-Bear Specialty Meats, if you're staying at home this weekend and watching the game, 11 o'clock kickoff, they've got some really good games on Friday night. Here in town, Catholic High is playing and hosting Warren Easton. Scotlandville is hosting Edna Carr up in North Baton Rouge. St. Thomas More of Lafayette, right down I-10, is traveling up to Monroe this weekend to take on Will Campbell and Neville on Friday night. That should be a who's who of high school recruiting and football. Should be at Neville Stadium on Friday night. So a lot of exciting football coming up. And if you are hosting, you are cooking, you are entertaining, you are tailgating for any of that, get over to A-Bears Specialty Meats, as A-Bears offers a great selection of tailgating needs, of home needs. If you need to, in fact, if you're busy this week and you got kids at the house and you're looking to feed them, but you don't have the time to stand over the oven and cook a lot, pick up a deboned stuffed chicken out of one of the freezers over at A-Bears on Highway 73 out in Prairieville, and just throw it in the oven for an hour and a half. You guys can eat on it. People can eat on it for 2 or 3 nights from the deboned stuffed chicken. So pick up a couple of them over there at A-Bears over on Highway 73 out in Prairieville. When we come back, we'll have Brody Miller talking more about LSU football here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU truebluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU bluewater.com. Make sure and like, share, comment on the post, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, JordyCulottaShow.com. We appreciate that very much. It gets us in front of more people, and that is good for us. We're planning something big for this Auburn game here coming up a week from Saturday as we're trying to get out to the public. It's very stressful, but hopefully we can pull this thing off, and if we do, we feel like it could be a home run getting out in front of the people. Remember, Brody Miller covers LSU over at The Athletic. I urge you, if you do not have a subscription, to get over to The Athletic and get your subscription for football season, as Brody Miller's got excellent insight on the LSU football team. You can follow him on Twitter at Brody A. Miller and get that subscription over at The Athletic pronto here during football season. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How you doing today, guys?
Doing good, man. The rumor mill is flying at LSU over the last 24 hours. We talked a little bit about it in our opening segment. Possibly a couple of status updates here over the next 24 hours. It looks like John Emery could get some resolution coming up here, and then the rumor mill and smoke flying and billowing out of LSU is something seems to be up with Derek Stingley Jr. What do you have anything on those two topics?
Yeah, I mean, I'll address Stingley first. At this point, I'm still in figuring out mode. I do know, and I think we've all heard the same rumors. I can't confirm he did at least leave practice in some capacity yesterday and did not finish practice. After that, I think things are still kind of murky, and I don't know further yet exactly what might have happened there or what his status is. In terms of Emery, it's getting tricky. I think as of Monday, I think there were a lot of people close to that case who thought it was pretty much looking like a slam dunk, no-brainer, 100% case. And now I think there's still some optimism there, but it sounds like some things, in terms of what can be in the case and what can't be in the case that, are kind of, reducing that optimism a little bit. So I think today is today that is technically on the docket, and there's hope that they can get a decision by today or tomorrow. And, as Ed Orgeron has said, he's been practicing every day, so if he is cleared, he is going to play right away and be the guy. But it does sound like there's just a little bit of difficulty behind the scenes there. So, while Tuesday I might have said I would guess Emery's eligible, now I'm less sure.
This was considered a reopening of the case, so if it doesn't go LSU's way or John Emery's way, there's a chance to still appeal, correct? There's still another step in the right direction for LSU?
As it was explained to me, yes, that is correct. That I believe that this is, like you said, this is basically the reconsideration that the NCAA staff is doing, and then if this is denied, then they can once again go to an appeal. Yes, I believe that's correct.
Brody, if they get him back, if all things go good for LSU and Emery, what do they get immediately, as Orgeron and you stated just a couple of seconds ago? If he's green-lit, he's going to be starting.
Yeah, I would assume he is the main guy right away, especially, Ed Orgeron saying that he is the, Ty Davis Price is still the starter. I think that shows that if Emery's back, he would be, and I think what he brings, obviously, is just a guy who's going to bring some dynamic playmaking ability, a guy who is more available in kind of the, creative stuff Jake Peetz wants to do, the stuff as a receiver, stuff lining him out, wide and all that. That's stuff that isn't exactly Ty Davis Price's skill set, and it's also stuff that, two freshmen just might not quite be, ready for overall. And I think if there's anything you can learn from the Corey Kiner, performance Saturday, it's that when the offensive line isn't playing particularly well, you need somebody who is going to, make something that isn't quite there, or hit a hole a little faster, or juke outside and all that. And Emery, say what you will, absolutely brings that. So I think that's what he would be bringing, is just somebody that can help create in a situation where maybe this offensive line isn't going to make it too easy for them.
Just speculation here, and just playing a game of what if. What if Derek Stingley's not out there on defense? What happens?
I mean, I think I had somebody on the staff say it feels like deja vu of last year against Mississippi State, where, just everything kind of went wrong. Stingley got sick the day before. Jay Ward was hurt. Why am I blanking? There was another player hurt in that quarterback room, and they were basically playing Darren Evans and an injured Jay Ward, and it was just a mess. And obviously, I don't think it's going to be that or anything like that. Eli Ricks is still one of the best corners in the country, and all that, but Jay Ward's coming back, which is really helpful at safety. But of course, that really, this is already a complete toss-up game, and you're playing an air raid. That is, losing one of arguably the best defensive player in the country is obviously a big blow. Where not necessarily the shoot, now I'm 100% going Mississippi State, but it reduces 10%, something like that, where you just lose a lot of stability there, a lot of playmaking and leadership too. So you could make an argument it's one of the 3 weeks. You just would not want this to happen.
Ed Ogeron mentioned over the last 24 hours that his left tackle spot is wide open for competition. Who's the best candidate to fill that spot, or what makes LSU their best if they have the left tackle in place? Who would it be?
That's a really good question, a really tough question, because there have been moments of Xavier Hill where I'm like, hey, give credit where it's due. I think sometimes we have a tendency to think replace. My gut probably still says Cam Wire is the best option. Is he a perfect one? Probably not, but I would argue he's probably the best option. And with guys like Dellinger and Bradford, it's just, how much have they been around? How much have they been practicing there? All those kind of things. And especially with Dellinger being a freshman, it's harder to have the same confidence. So I'm not saying this with that much assurance that I'm sure, Dellinger's not ready or anything like that. But, and it's a great question, but I think I probably default to, if healthy, and Cam Wire's knee has been a problem for years, but if healthy, I kind of think Cam Wire's the safest, but I'm not sure.
Do you expect Jay Ward to go on Saturday?
That is just the sense I have gotten, throughout the week. And if you've heard otherwise, I'm always all ears.
No, I've heard the same. It seems like they're stressing that, they're pushing that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think in Jay Ward coming back, again, I don't want to overstate it, and I don't want to, I bring up the example of how good they looked defensively against UCLA when he was there, and then how it dropped when he was gone. I'm not saying that's why it dropped off. I think UCLA and LSU's defense, deserve the credit and blame for that. But it is something, and I think Jay Ward's kind of, safety of all positions is kind of a stabilizer at times. And when you have a bad link at safety, that changes everything. So I think him being that guy, and also just he is kind of in some ways made for this game. He is a creative playmaker back there who can make stuff happen, who is more of a coverage guy who can fly sideline to sideline. And especially if somebody like Stingley is gone, he's important. Added, he's one of the more veteran guys in that secondary and all that. I can't put a value on it, but I mean, Cam Lewis has looked better than I expected these last 2 weeks, but still, it's just a lot to ask, Cam Lewis or Jordan Tolles in a game like this to be the main guy back there.
Corey Kiner has been a shining star or a shining spot for this offense over the last couple of weeks. Do you expect him to be a primary ball carrier, or at least get more time now here that SEC play is ratcheting up?
I've learned these last 4 years to never truly, whenever you think a running back, is taking it over, the load ends up being very different from what you think the next week, and it's very hard to truly predict what's going to happen. So I will not say that I think he is going to become the number one guy this week, but I do think you are going to see him consistently be more of a guy, and if you ask my opinion, maybe I would say he should be the guy, but I think it was clear that what he brings is, and it goes back to the Emery thing, it's not even just the playmaking stuff where he's bouncing outside and shaking guys off, which that alone is huge, right? And it opened up so much, and that's something him and Goodwin both bring really well. But for me, it was the more selling thing was honestly that even on the plays where he was just running into a hole for, 4 yards, and there wasn't much there, I just kind of noticed when it was some of those other guys, they would go to that same hole, but just a little slower. And it would be like he was basically turning what would be a 1 yard gain into a 3 or 4 because he's just more explosive into the hole. So it's not even just the big play stuff. It's the little stuff, too. So I think it's not even that I'm saying he's better or worse or anything. I think he's just more of what they need right now.
Yeah, I agree. Brody Miller joining us here from The Athletic. He is on Twitter at Brody A. Miller. You can get a subscription over at The Athletic today. Man, I was devastated. I hated the news for Andre Anthony when it came out on Monday. You've covered him for a while now. It felt like, obviously, he was playing his best football when he suffered the knee injury. What does LSU lose in him, and then how do you expect that rotation to change? And now Mason Smith sliding outside. That's a hell of a move, right? I mean, he was dominant inside,
Yes.
and now you take him and stand him up.
Yeah, I mean, Andre Anthony's story is kind of, and I mean, I'm usually pretty impartial on these things. I mean, I can say that is as sad of a situation as I can remember, just because 6 years. I mean, 2 academic issues take him out 1 year. Injury takes him out a year. Just wasn't really made to be a 3-4 outside linebacker for 2 years. And then to finally kind of get to this point where he's the leader, one of the main leaders of that defense, and he's playing really good football, quite frankly. I mean, T-Bob and I used to make this joke on the show where it was like we call him the That Guy All-Stars. And it was like him and Ray Anthony, guys who were always like listed as an option, but like they weren't really going to be the guy. It was kind of a rude joke. Just like, oh yeah, those guys are there too. And he proved us wrong. So I think it is really sad there. But it's tough because, yes, it's a big loss. I genuinely consider Anthony one of the better edge rushers in the SEC right now, or was. But it's also the one area that LSU, probably the area where LSU is probably most set to be okay. And considering, one, obviously, you had a 3-man rotation there. Now you still have Ollie Gay and B.J. Ojolari, who are off the charts. And then the Mason Smith thing is fascinating to me. And I won't pretend I'm sure it's going to work 100% because he's a true freshman playing a new position. That is a challenge. But he actually leads LSU in pressure rate. His 16.7% per Pro Football Focus. That's absurd. The idea that you're not necessarily losing much in a pass rushing capacity on the edge, but you might actually be solving a pretty consistent problem the last 2 years of setting the edge in the run game, holding things down because the run defense has been troubled. That actually might be a weird blessing in disguise that he might actually not drop off the pass rush and help some other problems. And again, freshman, we will see, but it's fascinating. I have a story up today on how he kind of reshaped his body the last year and a half to go from 330 pounds to be this, kind of positionless 292 pound 6'6" guy. It's kind of wild what he is now.
He looks freakish out there, bro. I mean, like
I heard somebody say he looks like a Madden creative player.
He does. I mean, like standing next to his teammates, he looks just
bigger than
abnormal.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's
in
just
a room
like,
full of freaks.
Good Lord, who is Zero? Brody Miller joining us here. He's from The Athletic. He's easy to find over there. You can find him on Twitter at Brody A. Miller. He's been weekly here on the LSU beat with us on the Jordy Culotta Show, and always appreciate his insight and information. That LSU freshman wide receiver class last weekend, obviously we've talked about them for so long, and they really showed off last weekend. Do you imagine that they are out there the bulk of the snaps for SEC play?
It goes back to almost that running back thing of freshman receivers. There's always probably a little bit of, they're going to have great highs and then they're going to have weeks where they, just go a little more quiet. I think it's probably harder to be consistent as a freshman receiver. But I do think, I think what you can take away from Saturday is that those guys are ready. Those guys are, and the main thing is there's so many of them that, again, I don't know if Deion Smith's going to play like that week to week. Probably not. But I do think Jack Besh is going to consistently be that guy. That guy who can get those 5-6 catches, get yards after the catch, be kind of that zone breaker for those short passes and all that. I do think that's not going anywhere. And I do think, hey, maybe if it's not Deion Smith, well, Malik Neighbors is healthy now. Shoot, Brian Thomas hasn't been consistent, but he's made 2 or 3 really great plays this season already. Things like that. Chris Hilton still hasn't come on yet, and I bet he will. So I don't know. I'm hedging my bets of I don't know about consistency right now, but I feel pretty confident those freshmen in some capacity are going to be those second and third playmakers.
Brody Miller, what do you expect from Mississippi State? Any insight on Mississippi State? Have you looked at them? And
yeah, it's tricky because I think they're obviously known for their great offense, and as they should be, and they're a very efficient offense, but they're not exactly an explosive offense. They haven't really been creating big plays, and obviously LSU's biggest weakness is they allow a lot of big plays. Their explosiveness rates are bad. So again, that's just me playing devil's advocate for LSU a little bit. But part of me thinks there might be a scenario where that matchup actually works out okay, and obviously Stingley's health is a factor there. But that, hey, LSU's success rate defense is solid. It's if they're playing an offense that isn't that explosive, maybe it's a decent matchup. I have a gut feeling that this game kind of will be a little ugly, and it'll be a little more decided by LSU's offense versus Mississippi State's. pretty darn good defense. It doesn't quite get the credit. LSU interviewed Zach Arnett, their defensive coordinator. I mean, that's a good defense. They have good corners. And LSU can maybe win that, but I think it's going to come down to, is LSU's offensive line ready? It hasn't looked ready for 3 weeks. Mississippi State's the first SEC D-line they're going to play. I think that's really going to decide this. So it feels like a true toss-up, and I have a gut feeling it comes down to what LSU's offense looks like.
I kind of have to agree with you a little bit, because after you see what Mississippi State did last week, where they threw the ball over 70 times, and Mike Leach is not somebody that's scared to do that in any game, it comes down to LSU's defense. And I'm just wondering if when you look at LSU's offense, are they capable of matching up with that? Will it turn into a 70-throw game versus a 50-throw game? Because LSU can't get the run game going against Mississippi State's like the little 3-3-5 they run. It looks like it's just going to turn into a Max Johnson versus Mississippi State's quarterback.
No, I gotta give you credit. You have some fantastic questions that genuinely make me think. I think there's a good point to that, because I think everything about the season kind of, it's not to be too dramatic, but comes down to, can LSU run the ball or not? Because, if they can't, that puts a lot of pressure on a passing game that is super talented but super still figuring things out and all that. So if LSU can't run the ball, that's, it's almost playing into Mississippi State's hand in some ways. And I do think LSU's passing game is capable of having really good nights. But I don't know if it's at that point yet where, they're consistent enough to do it every week. So that I think a lot will come down if they can run the ball. That's my short answer.
Are you making the trip to Davis Wade?
Absolutely.
Do you pack like earbuds? Do you pack something to block the noise?
As a former Clarion Ledger reporter, I think that's home to me, man. That sound. I would listen to it in bed every night, man. I love that sound.
Yeah, it's a lullaby.
Yeah,
right.
Gives other people PTSD.
Rocks him to sleep. That's right. Enjoy it, man. Have a safe trip. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Always a pleasure, guys. Take care.
Man. See you. There is Brody Miller checking in from The Athletic this morning. As you can get your subscription, as we tell you, and every week he's here with us, giving really good insight on where LSU is now. And they're a little bit of the same of what we were reporting to start of the show on Derek Stingley and his status. Obviously there is some smoke and some rumors out there, and got some people talking on whether or not he's going to be available for Saturday. It seems at the very least, with as many people that are talking about him leaving practice yesterday, that it seems like that happened on Wednesday. So we will wait and see, man. You hate to think that LSU is going to go into Starkville without their top cornerback in Stingley for the second consecutive year, where LSU does not have Stingley for a Mississippi State matchup. Obviously, as Brody was replaying last season, Stingley came down with the illness and had to get to the hospital on that Friday night from the team hotel before Saturday, and ended up being ruled out on game day. And it was it was devastating for LSU, obviously, not to be kind of over dramatic with it, but I mean the amount of defensive backs that they were playing without in that game became a serious issue. You had Jay Ward hobbling around, running around out there on one leg. You had Darren Evans, who had transferred in from Nichols, who obviously was not ready for SEC competition last year when that first game came up on him. And being without Derek Stingley turned out to be just a bad day for LSU. Can they overcome that in a defensive backfield this weekend if they do not have access to Stingley? So it's going to be interesting to see what the news is over the next couple of hours.
Would the next man up be McLaughlin? Is that who you think would step in and play corner immediately?
It looks like it. It feels like it. It's a guy who is fresh off of the training table, got some reps last week versus Central Michigan, and really looked good. Really, really looked good. He's obviously played a lot of football last year. It seems like that he would be at least an option there.
I just wonder how much it changes LSU's scheme if Stingley can't go, where you can almost lock down one side of the field, whether it's man or zone. It seems like he always is very comfortable and knows at least what he's doing in his position. So this has to be almost throw the game plan out a little bit and bring in, you kind of have to retool some things, because you can't, if Seven's not there, that changes the entire defense almost.
Definitely this weekend.
That's what might be the biggest killer.
If there was ever a weekend for this not to go down, this would be it. Or at least, 48 hours outside of kickoff where you learn that, you may not have access to him.
Getting that weird room with
he not may be available. Yeah, you just you hate to think that, Mike Leach, that'd be a big advantage for Mike Leach and his play calling for LSU. First off, blowing up the defensive game plan, on Thursday or Friday of game week, and not blowing it up entirely, but I mean, you're taking and changing some things. If you don't have your top cornerback, your shut down guy, that at least you can say, hey, if we get into a pinch, we can just run man, and you can take those crossers away by yourself.
Right, if there's one guy killing us, you just put 7 on him. It's like Petey and Remember the Titans. Just get out there and cover 88. I don't care what you're doing. You do your job. That's all I'm worried about you having to do. But this changes, I'm sure Mike Leach has probably now he has a different game plan almost. I'm sure this has gotten back to him a little bit. And if he can play, but you still have that contingent plan of, if I don't see 7 out there, I'm going right back to what we did in 2020. Yeah. Because when he wasn't out there, they looked lost.
And then you've got mass confusion midweek of the game. A lot like you did last year, where things were, there was so much stuff happening off the field for LSU that the game, when it got here, they were almost like checked out. It was like they weren't even engaged into the game. The carpool queen is here. Yes.
What, we're making excuses for last year's game now?
No, we're not making excuses.
No.
Seems like it.
We're making excuses for last year's game so we can make excuses for this year's game.
I know, that's exactly what's
teeing
going
up
on.
the excuses for Saturday.
I knew it was coming.
Teeing them up.
You're losing senior leadership in Andre Anthony. He can't go. Terrible time to lose him.
Tell everybody y'all beat LSU. Y'all did it without Stingley. What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
God, that's the dumbest excuse I've heard yet.
I'm not making excuses at all.
Y'all are.
I am.
Y'all are. Y'all are making excuses for last year's game right now.
No, I'm not making excuses.
We're explaining why it happened.
Oh, you were explaining to me.
Yeah.
When I wasn't
here.
I'm
mansplaining to you.
Yeah, you
why
are.
LSU lost.
Sit
down. Leather.
Yeah, bro. Is that leather? Is that hot?
It's not hot.
Yeah, it's good. It feels good outside.
It feels great outside.
Feels good
right?
outside.
Chris Berman would be rolling around in his chair.
I'd have sweat beads dripping off my chin.
The Chris Berman, you're with me, Leather. Have you ever heard that story? No. Oh God, I guess I could tell it. He's not gonna find me. But he was in a bar. And it, obviously they were having some drinks or whatever, and they had a conversation. Like somebody overheard him. Some lady sat down in like a tight leather dress. He gets up to leave, pays, and grabs her. It's like, "You're with me, Leather," and she walks out with Chris Berman.
Wow, Boomer.
With me,
that was back
Leather.
in his prime.
Wow. back.
We're going back to my house.
Right, that's right. Daily, we were brought to you by RMB Builders. Get in touch with Rhett Bourgeois and his crew. rmb-builders.com. Remember, whether it's handiwork you need around the office or house, if you need to totally overhaul your house, you want to totally rebuild one, or you want a custom designed house, then get in touch with Rhett. rmb-builders.com. rmb-builders.com, as you can find Rhett and his crew ready and willing to get in front of you today, man. Get in touch with them. It's easy to do that. The easiest way is online. rmb-builders.com. Remember, commercially licensed over there with Rhett. So if you have a office project or something that you need commercially done, they can help you out as well. They can get that done. rmb-builders.com. All right, as we said, Nick Underhill under the weather this week, so he's going to be out. And then Megan Making Money is traveling up to Chicago for a Barstool hit, so she's not going to be here on this Thursday morning.
What in the world are we going to do next then?
Looks like we're just going to goof off for the next hour.
I have to goof off. Oh, I want to ask my journalism integrity will not let me die. I want to make sure I get the story right, because it's better than even how I told it. So this guy's at a bachelor party, and he says, a friend of mine just told me he's getting married. When he gave the news, Emily thought Tommy was in Scottsdale at spring training, and it's the best pickup story I've ever heard. So he's flirting with this girl. She's wearing a leather jacket.
Leather
pants.
Spring training in Arizona.
I guess
such a bold move.
Cools down at night over there.
It does cool down. It does cool down. But it is hot during the day,
yeah.
bro.
During the bachelor party, one of his buddies that was single, I don't want to get anybody in trouble, a story that happened over 20 years ago, but as he was putting on the finishing touches, this guy flirting with this girl, Berman walks by, wink and nod, says, "You're with me, Leather." She gets up, recognizes who it is, walks out with Berman. This guy got
Leaves
totally
the guy.
cuckolded
Wow.
by Skip Berman. I'm not Skip Berman.
Wait, what?
Chris Berman.
I was
Legends
like,
on the
wait,
mind,
wait,
bro.
hold on, hold on.
Legends on the mind.
That doesn't seem right.
Sandy Bear sleeping in room 628.
We're about to be in the pool.
That's right. That's a great story, bro.
It is.
That
That's a
was
good
good,
one.
Jordy. Speaking of, have y'all seen Taylor's new part 2 drop?
Yes,
Y'all
I saw
watched
it. I saw it over the night. Taylor Martirano.
You got to play it.
I thought his T-Bob this go around was
The
fantastic.
T-Ball was good.
I think he
no
would.
buttons.
No buttons.
He was. I don't think he was embarrassed, but I think he's like, "Oh, I could do it way differently,"
Yeah.
you know, because we're like, "Is that Hester?" And he was like, "No, it was T-Bob."
Yeah,
I
it was
know,
a weak character.
Like I did it. I shouldn't even have done it.
Yeah, it was good though.
All we care about is he got Jordy's spot on.
He was good, man.
No, that was nailed.
Yes.
The voice.
Yeah.
People were
It's
calling
good.
me and texting me. They're like, the way he says Saban. It's like if I closed my eyes, I thought it was Jordy talking.
Snap the ball.
Oh, Saban.
Yeah,
Yeah.
snap the ball. He's great. He's great.
Awesome.
Taylor Martirano is the latest is up. The master impersonator. Remember, get online at JordyCulottaShow.com. You've got a gift store there, jordy.itemorder.com, where you can pick up your gear. We've got Southern Marsh gear, purple and gold, if you're looking for some game day attire. We've also got some game day dry fits over there, some purple and golds. If the ladies are looking for some tanks, we got some ladies' tees over there as well. If you want to pick that up at jordyculotta.show.com. That is the website, jordyculotta.show.com. Make sure you like, share, comment on the post here, as we appreciate that. That gets us in front of more eyeballs. That brings up more opportunities for other people to see us. So if you don't mind, please like and share and comment on the post. NFL game tonight is Carolina at Houston. Ugh.
Oh, and Tyrod's out.
Tyrod is out. Who did I see was starting? A Stanford quarterback.
Dave Mills.
Yes.
He was the #1 quarterback in the
That's right.
country coming out of high school. I think he went to Stanford.
Davis Mills.
Davis Mills lost his job there. Transfer portal, ends up getting drafted, but I don't expect a whole lot of Thursday night theatrics. But sometimes this is when the game gets its wonkiest, when you don't really know, you know how to prepare for a Davis Mills.
Heineke a week ago tonight shined for the Washington football team.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes they're just the most entertaining games because you don't know what the hell is going to happen next. But it's hard not to. The spread's, I think, at 8. Tease that sucker down to 1. You got yourself a little bet.
Carolina -8.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a big win for Carolina last weekend to move to 2-0 and now an 8-point favorite at Houston.
Probably a little too much value
That's
there.
that's a lot of money for. I mean, that's a lot of points for a 4-day rest.
Right.
In the NFL.
I think that's the Davis Mills factor.
That could be a Davis Mills factor for sure. So that's your Thursday night NFL action. Then in college tonight, who did I see? Appalachian State is on tonight, I believe, on ESPN.
Who do they play?
Golly. Let me see 1 second. Let me pull it
I
up
want to watch
here.
just
I mean,
to see Mark
Armani Edwards
coach.
ain't walking through that door.
Nah, Armani Edwards, bro. What a name.
What a player.
Marshall App State. Marshall is at App State
Okay.
for the Thursday night game in college football. So not too big of a draw on a Friday night.
Well, this is what happens, and isn't this what happens?
Or on a
It's-
Thursday night,
Yeah,
excuse me.
this is what happens. They throw out the premier teams even on Thursday and Sunday night and Monday for college football and for the NFL. And you're so excited just to watch football. And now that you've mentioned we're almost in week 4 now for college football, week 3 and the NFL is about to kick off. Now it's like, ugh, I don't really want to watch Carolina versus the Texans or App
Right.
State versus Marshall. But if you'd have given me that in week 1,
Yeah,
I would have been
yeah.
like, oh, hell yeah, App
Right.
State
Yeah.
Marshall.
Right.
So now we're like, oh, we're a little spoiled at this point already.
I do want to watch Carolina. You
Oh,
know, I
definitely.
kind of am peaking at Carolina throughout the season because they feel like a team very much ascending. They feel like a team that is on the come up that you have to look out for. I mean, not only does it feel like they have the right coach, and Matt Rule doesn't look like a guy you should respect in football. I mean, he doesn't look like.
Slob.
I mean, he does. He just doesn't fit the. It just doesn't fit the visual you have as a football coach. But compliments to him and kudos to him because they look like they're heading in the right direction. I mean, I'm not trying to play the 2-0 start to say, I mean, they're going to the Super Bowl. But a 2-0 start in the NFL is a 2-0 start, and they look like they're heading in the right direction. And as we said, I know that the Saints had the deck stacked against them last weekend with not having their full allotment of coaches, and some of the players that were out were absolutely key players. But it's a hell of a win.
Some people are saying they're a pretender, though, that it's not
No,
real.
I think that that's debatable. I think that is absolutely still to be debated, and I think that they feel like a wild card type team in the playoff where they can get in, maybe win a game, maybe get beat. But if you're a fan, if you're a supporter, if you're covering that team, you recognize they're heading in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You gotta, as Skip Burtman tells the story. I mean, he always says it's a process of winning championships. You've got to get to Omaha. You got to see what Omaha is like. I mean, he talks about that '86 team when they went to the first time, and they were so just bug-eyed of being in Omaha. We're finally here, to going back in '89 and thinking that they were going to win it with McDonald, that gave up the grand slam that ultimately knocked him out of Omaha. Then going back in '91 and kicking the door down for the national championship. I mean, it's kind of a
building blocks.
It's a process. Mm-hmm. It's a the Chicago Bulls, the last dance. I mean, as they told, getting through Detroit. I mean, it was a 4-year deal before they could really tap into the finals and become a team that stuck. Mm-hmm. And they had to go through all of that stuff. The ass whoopings that Detroit would put on MJ and his teammates was something that they still talk about. 25 years later, is things that got them ready for that championship run.
Well, isn't that how you just inspire? Isn't that how you inspire confidence in a team? You have to go through the hardships and the failures, and then once you overcome those things, you're like, oh, we can do this, and it's one step at a time.
That's why Tom Brady's story is so wacky.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, this guy comes off of the bench mid-season to replace a former #1 overall pick and a franchise player in Drew Bledsoe, leads them to the Super Bowl. Bledsoe gets healthy during that run, doesn't get his job back. Brady gets knocked out of the divisional round in Pittsburgh. They got to put Bledsoe in that game to win it. And there was a big debate on is Bledsoe going to get his job back? And Belichick after the game was like, Tom Brady is our starting quarterback. And then the next week was the Tuck rule when they played in Foxborough with the Raiders. And Brady, the Tuck rule saves them. They go to the Super Bowl, and Brady is Tom Brady's Tom Brady.
If the Tuck rule doesn't go that way,
so it's a great debate.
Don't you think
it's a great debate?
We go back to open competition for the Patriots and spring training, whatever they want to call it. Golly. When they go back to OTAs, they're like, job could be open. Drew Bledsoe, from what I just saw, won you a game. Tom Brady essentially loses you a game. There's no Super Bowl where he gets the moment where he drives the team down the field, gets out of Vinatieri on the field to kick the winning kick in a Super Bowl. He has the one-shotting moment with the head on the hands, and he gets the Tom Brady experience to kick off. If that Tuck rule is not the Tuck rule, it might just been a Drew Bledsoe Tom Brady debate, and they go back and forth. Very interesting.
It is definitely a divide in the road of the NFL history book. You know what I mean? It is a what if.
He's the best player of all time.
If that comes back and they say, you know what, that was a fumble. Which, I mean, the debate is so balanced on each side of what they think it is.
I still don't know what the Tuck rule is.
Me either. I have no idea.
I don't either.
It's never been called since.
I got to imagine it's been called since, bro.
I think they've rebranded it a little
Wait,
bit.
how long ago was that?
2001?
For sure, right?
You would think so. I mean, you would think so. So they are claiming that he was throwing the ball, right? I mean, that's the argument on the Tuck rule. I mean, because if you tuck it, it's a fumble.
So they're saying he was throwing.
But they're saying his arm was moving forward,
incomplete pass,
and it kind of fell into the ground. When it looks like he's kind of has the ball here, and he's sacked, and the ball hits the ground, is what Oakland, John Gruden, and the Raiders were arguing at the time. I mean, think about that. Think about what happened to Gruden. You know what I mean? Like a year later, 2 years later, he's traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and beats Oakland in the Super Bowl. Beats his former team in the Super Bowl. The year after Brady wins it for New England for the first time. Tampa Bay with that defense with Booger, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, that whole crew, Warren Sapp. go out to San Diego and run Rich Gannon and the Oakland Raiders off of the field. I mean, like, run them out of the place. Think if Gruden wins that game in Foxborough, NFC Championship, and goes to the Super Bowl.
And plays the Rams.
Probably
gets run out the gym.
Who knows?
Tuck rule was abandoned in 2013 to a 29-1 vote. So
wow. So it doesn't even exist
anymore. Telling you.
I'm getting like laces out vibes from this conference.
Yeah, very much.
It's a dividing point in NFL history if you really want to look at it like that.
The legacy that it was the launch point for Brady's legacy.
Without a doubt, that's what I'm saying.
It is the springboard of Tom Brady's football life, is the tuck rule. I mean, you could probably go back to when Bledsoe gets knocked out of the game, but, I mean, like, all in all, the big picture says, I mean, the tuck rule, if it goes opposite, do we know? He definitely doesn't have 7. You know, he didn't even go to that Super Bowl.
Might not be a starter.
So did it happen again between 01 and 13 when they took it out? And, like, why'd they choose to take it out in 2013?
Because they didn't know. They don't understand.
They don't know how to
Nobody
enforce
understands how to enforce the rule.
Yeah, that's weird.
I mean, it was like when they started messing with what's a catch. I mean, what is a catch in the NFL? Like, the fact that Dez Bryant's catch was not a catch in Lambeau. Was that the NFC Championship?
Yes.
Was that the NFC Championship? Was that really the NFC Championship?
I believe so. Because that's when didn't Green Bay go on to win the
Yeah,
Super
Green
Bowl
Bay
that
won
year?
the Super Bowl in Dallas.
Could you have imagined? Jerry Jones would be dead.
He would be dead.
If Dallas had won the Super Bowl
In Dallas, he would have been dead.
He'd have been hanging with Michael Irvin.
I think that was the Super Bowl where it snowed the whole time in Dallas, and they had like cars like piled up on the in the middle of the interstate because nobody knew how to drive in the snow.
Dallas would have been dead.
Like iced over. But you know, the NFL catch rule is idiotic, moronic. I mean, like the fact that they can't even really explain what a catch, what's not a catch, what insinuates a catch, what is the definition of a mother bleeping catch. That's all I'm looking for in watching my football. You know what I mean? Like, you're telling me that Dez Bryant didn't catch that? That's what you're trying to tell me?
I saw him.
I mean, like, he's got it in his armpit.
That and the Calvin Johnson catch when he comes down with it against Chicago, uses the ball to get up in the end zone and lets go of it. Like, he didn't complete the process of catching the football. He's like, yeah, he did. That's why he's celebrating. The thing that ruined the catch is replay. You got to look at it too close because it wasn't very evident. Whenever you could just watch it with your 2 eyes and go, that's a catch and a fumble. That was a drop. That was incomplete. And then once you started slowing it down to 1/16 of a frame per second, you're like, that ball's still moving. It's like, everything's moving right now.
Right.
Like, if you slow down enough, everything's is moving a little.
I mean, bring me back to the days of Jamarcus Early Doucette rolling to his left and just flicking his wrist 45 yards down the field and having Early cup it on his chest, bounce back, catch it again on the ground, out of bounds, and getting the win on the road. That's what I'm looking for, man.
Because don't you miss the days of just like, that's game?
Yeah,
Can't do anything
absolutely.
about
Turn the
it.
TV
Touchdown.
off. LSU wins.
And the last thing I wanted to see is that it's under review. It's like,
they're screwed. I mean, they don't win.
No.
Les Miles' first game. Les Miles' first game.
End zone.
Faked a punt out of his end zone. Craig Stelz blocked a punt for a scoop and score by Hester. And I think that they blocked another kick. I think they blocked 2 kicks for scores in Les Miles' first game at LSU, and they threw a fake punt out of his own end zone to Ronnie Prude. Remember Chris Jackson?
Yes.
Is the guy's name.
Dude,
I mean, people were like,
baseball player.
And Les had on the Britney Spears mic, and people were like, who is this clown? Who is this guy?
Who did LSU pick up after the divorce? Because this is a bounce. This is a rebound.
I mean,
Don't
this
marry
is a
this man.
major rebound,
LSU's,
bro.
we're marrying him.
So the rule book of NFL, there are like 3 rules for what a catch is, but there are like 5 footnotes under that. I mean, it's so
how bad.
much.
It's like reading the Bible.
How
it really
bad is it?
I mean, you'd have to read this. I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, there are so many stipulations. It's crazy.
Okay, a lot of people are fact-checking us inside of the bunker, and we have totally dramatized the Tom Brady story.
Okay.
Green Bay won in Dallas in the Super Bowl in 2010. The Dez Bryant catch was 2014.
I know we were close.
We were 4 years off. And then both games that we were talking about were in the divisional round. That was the Tuck rule was the divisional round in Foxborough. Because if I remember correctly, they went to the AFC Championship game the next week in Pittsburgh, and that's when Brady got knocked out, and Bledsoe had to go in, and they ended up winning the game and going to the Super Bowl.
They just got him flipped.
Yeah, got him flipped.
No big deal.
Got him flipped.
I was 9, so don't expect a lot from me in the 2001 conversation.
That's dumb.
9. I was in Vegas for the first time. My first trip ever to Vegas, totally broke. Walking through the casino with a suit on with Brent Garrett.
Really?
The famous real estate agent now here in town, the famous commercial real estate agent that everybody knows. The man that has turned his life totally around since that day when we were walking broke with sunglasses on. Sunglasses on. 21 years old, bro.
Inside.
Oversized suit. No money in our pocket. A Nextel flip phone that had the walkie-talkies on them.
Stay.
Shades on. in the Paris casino in Vegas without a pot to piss in, and we put $50 on that game and watched the Tuck game. We watched the AFC divisional round game between Brady and Oakland.
Who'd you bet
at a
on?
Vegas bar. We had Oakland, which was a cover. Which was a cover.
Always take the points in those playoff games. They get very tight. Wait, is the suit in Vegas your first time, like the move number 1? Because I think we did the same thing. Definitely a sports jacket.
Yes.
We have to bring this. It's Las Vegas. Like,
absolutely.
Bro, you're not getting it anywhere where you need to wear that.
Right.
You're going to the Nugget on the other
and they're going to look at you in that $350 suit and be like, yo, chump, your spot's down the way.
Yeah, go to the $10 table.
Yeah, right. With your fake Ray-Bans on, you freaking nerd. I mean, like, would you get those in the airport?
Yes.
I did, actually. Yes. Do you have a better pawn shop that we can hit up?
Yeah. Would you watch the movie Casino on the way over here? Like, absolutely.
Probably,
I did.
yes.
Vegas will swallow you up if you have no idea. Really.
Never been. I don't
It's probably
know
good
how
that you would
or
you would go now, rather than going as a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
You're just like,
absolutely.
what are you doing, man?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Nothing that you should be doing in Vegas.
At all.
Not
Like,
even
and
close.
not even anything cool. You know what I mean? Like,
you're just in Las Vegas.
Yeah, just like, what are we supposed to do, man? I mean, like, let's go do that. You're like, you don't have the money to get in there, dude. You don't have the status to go there. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have everything you've heard about Vegas as a 21-year-old virgin, first-timer, going to Sin City, you got no shot unless you have got well-connected, tied into somebody. Like a guy I grew up with, I don't think he'd mind me saying that, Will Stelly, Coach Willis Stelly at U-High's son.
Yeah.
He and I are childhood good friends. He went on to become a host in Vegas. Now he lives in Nashville and oversees this huge golf resort, I think a casino type property in Nashville. He's got a great gig. But he spent a decade as a host in Vegas. And I mean, some of the stories, some of the pictures that you would just wake up to some mornings and be like, good God. I mean, like, the people that you're just
rubbing elbows
trusting, that trust you. I mean, these people, like, have built a relationship with him. I'll never forget this. George Strait came down to what was the event in Tiger Stadium that they did the country music? Bayou Country Fest.
Superfest.
On a Friday night. It wasn't a part of that gig, but George Strait came down here and played like the opening night. Will was George Strait, still is, a very good friend of George Strait because he met him as his host in Vegas, and turns out now, like, he's in George Strait's inner circle. George Strait came to Bayou Country Superfest and did a sound check. He played on Friday night. He did a sound check in Tiger Stadium with nobody in Death Valley, not one just his sound people, just George Strait's crew. And Will had his mom and dad a candlelight dinner in the middle of the deal because he got George to do that for his parents, like, for free. And I mean, that night,
so cool. George
Strait, like, takes him out to dinner. I mean, like, you get a call from Will, you get a text message from Will. I mean, like, he's on the golf course, and I'm not. It's not him name dropping. It's me name dropping as his friend. I mean, like, he's sitting there playing with, like, George Strait, Jason Aldean, Adrian Peterson. I mean, just like the most eclectic group. You know, you're like, look at this guy. Look at this. I mean, like, he'll just call you like randomly because you know Kirk Herbstreit lives in Nashville, and him and Herbstreit will be like on a Thursday, like just playing golf at this resort that he runs, and then they'll like go to a Nashville Predators game that night, and he'll show like Herbstreit like fun, like no lipping. Like a beer, like he doesn't like the waterfall. Yeah, the waterfall pour. Like it doesn't touch his. You'll like hit him like real quick when he's like Kirk says hello and he's like guzzling up. I'm like, look at your life, bro.
I know.
And all of that was spawned out of being a host in Vegas. You know,
Wow.
I mean, like now my guy, he's great with kid, but he doesn't have a family. You know what I mean? Like he misses out on that stuff, and wishes he had that life, but. To have the life he has, you can't really do that. You know what I mean? You can't really be the family guy. You got to be on call. You know, I mean, there has been times where like Luke Bryant.
Brian.
Brian?
I
With a T?
don't know, but I think it's
really
Brian.
don't know. Chris
I don't
Bryant
listen to
for
country,
sure.
but I don't think there's a T.
He house sits his beach house in 38. Like he'll throw Will the keys and be like, "I'm out for 2 weeks.
Feed the dog.
Place
That's
is yours.
awesome.
Just
Beer in the fridge.
absolutely.
Well, yeah,
don't let it burn
you
down.
Don't want a family
Don't let
if
it
that's
burn
your
down, bro.
life.
Yeah, right.
Why would you?
And I mean, like, jets waiting on you at the airport.
Yeah.
Cars waiting on you to take you to the house. You drive the cars for the week. You know what I mean? You take whatever car you want. Bring whoever you want.
I was meant
There's
for that
$20
You know what I
on
mean?
the counter
I'm
for
like-
pizza.
Will.
right?
Exactly.
$20.
Number to the fire department's right by the phone.
Poison control is right there on the fridge.
Don't eat that.
That's the name of it. The Troubadour. The Troubadour. That's the place in Nashville that Will runs. The golf resort that all these A-listers
Want to be?
play
Okay.
at.
I would love to see the picture of him 10 years, like the day he started in Las Vegas and the 10 years after, where he's just like, get me out of this city.
It was. I don't even know if it was like that. Like I think that the hardest part about that life is
have to be
being
awake.
on call.
You have to be
Yeah.
awake.
24
That's what I'm
hours a
saying.
day, 7 days a week. I mean, if they call you at 3 a.m. and say, "Come get me," I need to be out of here in 10 minutes. You got to be there in 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
There's
and
only
if
one way
you're
to
not,
live
there's
like that.
another call that's going out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, hey, he didn't show up. I need you to pick me up. And that guy that picks him up is now the new. You're in.
Now his parents are listening to
Exactly.
whoever the hell country music star playing for him on the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
Drinking raspberry wine. Country music.
How did we get there?
Las Vegas, baby.
Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas.
James Sportenberry. I'm not too good for country. I never said that. I like Johnny Cash. I love Alison Krauss. That's kind of it, though.
Yeah.
Willie Nelson. I've been to see him twice. Yeah, I don't really like today's country, and I was never like a George Strait fan either. So no, I don't love country, but I'm not too good for it. Just don't.
I
enjoy
cut
it.
my teeth in radio on a Country Legends radio station.
That's so
which
weird.
is it was actually 104.9 Country Legend. They actually took 104.9 and simulcast it with 104.5, which became ESPN Radio. But when 104.9 initially existed, I mean, it's been everything. It was everything. It was a rock station. It was a rap station. It was a political station. But
We just have the studio.
when I got there, it was a Country Legend station, and you had to sit there and babysit it for like 4 hours to make sure it didn't fall off the air. And
Were you into country music?
I wasn't when I went in. Now, give me a country song from 70s, 80s, and 90s, and I am belting it.
Really?
Every single note at the top of my lungs.
Wow, maybe I need to work at a
I
country
mean-
station.
No, it's not that. It's that you're forced to listen to it.
You're
It's
definitely
a-
forced to listen. I mean, I didn't have a choice, but after going through the, like the reservation, the camp, that I mean, like I was up there punished. I mean, I'm a Country Legends. I'm a country go. I'm a huge George Strait fan. I mean, when Will told me that, I tried to backdoor in on his parents' dinner. You know what I mean? Like,
I know these songs.
yeah, right.
You'd be
Can you play
playing-
the Fireman, bro?
You got some B cuts for me? Because I've had to baby.
Country Gold, Country Legends, 60s, 70s, 70s, 80s, 90s country, in my opinion, is. Now I'm not downloading it.
Right.
But if it comes on, I'm turning it up. I'm turning it
Yeah.
up.
It hits your soul.
Yeah, man.
See, for me, it was like Guantanamo Bay when they just blare music at you because you can't turn it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if it goes off air and you're not listening, then that's on you. And I would turn it down to the lowest volume for when I babysat the country music station at the old radio station. And because when you think you're in the car, you're like,
that's how you get burned as a babysitter.
It does. I know. I can hear it.
Oh, shit, we got dead air.
What's going on over there?
The phone starts blowing up. Hello?
See that hotline? You're like, messed it up. Stepped in it.
Spots aren't playing.
Fire that thing off. How long has it been dead for? What happened? You have to pee.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
I thought it was on. I could hear it. But the thing is, why Jordy remembers all these and why I wanted to turn it down. Well, first of all, I'm not a country music fan, so that was torture. But the stop sets, and if you're there for an extended period of time, if you hear the same song in the car every now and then, we heard the same songs for probably
absolutely
every 5 minutes.
No doubt about it.
Or every 15 minutes.
I mean,
like,
Conway Twitty, George Jones, Hank Williams Sr. I mean, all those days of country are just, burned into my brain. Like I can, if I hear the first note of one of those songs, I'll give you the title and the chorus. You know what I mean? Like,
it's so funny.
I mean, it's just because, like you said, it's almost like a form of torture.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it really, that's what they do to torture POWs. I mean, they put them in a cave and just blare music at them. You know what I mean? Like
country.
Ultimately, we were sitting in a closet and they were blaring country gold legends at us.
The lights down low.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God.
That's my job.
I don't know what I would do.
You can't do anything. You can't even get up to pee because if it goes off air,
you can't.
So
hell no, man.
If you don't bring a water in, it's tough to go up and leave because if it goes off air, like that's
and then God
literally the reason
forbid
you're
you
there.
do get out of that room and you make eye contact with somebody that sees you not in that room.
The program director.
So like, what are you doing outside of that room? Like,
where am I?
They just started a new song. I thought everything was cool.
3 minutes and 55 seconds. I just heard it start. Just throw up as soon as you say, "Wow!"
Oh my God, I love that. I never knew that was a gig that you had.
2 years, bro.
2 years.
2 years.
Of country legends.
2 years.
You do. I mean, if you really want to cut your teeth, you have to do traffic at 4:50 in the morning.
Traffic.
Do that.
Phone screening.
But then
babysit. The first couple of gigs that I had in radio was I was the call screener for Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
You were really good at
post game show. Yeah, right. And then Wednesday night Tiger Zone with Hanny, which was always fantastic. And then we did like the post game show at Walk-Ons after the game, which was just bro, epic. I mean, just some of the stories that came out of there were just
you got to see
wild, nuts. Yes.
But see, you can see how that's how you build yourself up the ladder, though. You just have to stick around. You have to be available.
And you got to see all that stuff on radio. You got to hear all that stuff. I mean, I'll never forget the first time I heard Hannah Griff go back and forth with a caller. You know what I mean? I was always like, the caller's always right. You know what I mean? Like, you know, always like, yeah, for sure. I agree. You know what I mean? Like, Les Miles is the greatest coach ever. You know, you're like, for sure, man. Absolutely. I know what you're seeing. I see what you're talking about, man. I mean, he eats grass and he wears his hat like a goofball, but yeah, man, he's great.
He eats grass.
But like Hannah Griff one day, like went back with this guy, like just like, I mean, dressed him down. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it was like, hey, Billy, you still there? You know, Billy, yeah, I'm here. He's like, well, Billy, let me tell you something, man. You don't know anything about football. I was like,
you can do that?
And Hanny just went, first off, second off, finally, and one more thing. You know what I mean? You're like,
have a great
get
day.
His ass, Hanny. Get his ass. You know what I mean? We showed up Monday to do our show. I'm like, let's take calls. You know what I mean?
Oh, Billy from Gonzalez calls in.
Oh, Robert, you know what I mean? I think they should probably get the ball to so-and-so more. You don't know anything, Robert. What are you watching, bro?
And on top of that, he's ineligible.
Tell everybody else I said you're an idiot.
Wait, that reminds me. Did y'all watch Nick Saban's press conference? Yeah, was it yesterday or the day before? When he's like, "Have any of you ever played sports?"
Oh, wow! He hit him with that.
Oh, you got to play the clip if you can. It is so good. It's hilarious.
I didn't know Nikki had that in him.
Yes, it's awesome.
The have you ever played sports line?
Well, no, it must have touched his heart because it's the guy you've been talking about, the tight end from Alabama, the 5-star that he's very,
Billingsley.
Yes, and so a caller was, or like a reporter, was asking about him and how he's kind of like.
That's a plant.
Yeah, man.
That's a plant.
That's what I was saying.
That's a plant.
He got all hot and bothered.
That's how he does that. But that's what he wants the plants.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he likes that. He likes to freak. Because if you read his book, he's talking to his team in his press conference. Like that's how. Because he's like, I know these guys are watching me.
Yeah.
I know these guys are watching this. You know what I mean? I know that they're watching this stuff. So I'm going to coach my team through the press. So he absolutely has got some minion out there. It's like, hey, ask me about Billingsley at about the 3-minute mark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm going to lose it on you, but you're all good.
He did.
Right. You'll be able to go
Yeah,
play
you're
golf.
all good. I'll give you a little access. I'll bring you down to the boat and ride you on the lake.
Yeah. You want a football?
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I mean? Like lapdogging. Just saving.
Go tell 5 friends that I told you to play the question. Right. You can do that.
I'm going to whistle you back here in about 3 minutes. When I do that, you ask me that question. You know, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I mean? Just
totally.
I mean, yeah, I'm in. I'm all in.
It's pretty awesome though. Can we play it or will we get in
Hell
trouble?
no, we can't play it.
But
No.
it's like everywhere. Like why would we get in trouble for that?
Because we don't have the rights to it. I don't know how this works, but I know that every time I play something that's like massively viral, that's not related to LSU, we get in trouble. We get flagged.
True, I guess.
I don't
But
want to
it's
get.
so
I'm not
good.
trying to get strikes on this thing. We just got it back.
Wes Shin says last night, Coach O getting the comment that its first game over 500 since the national championship was an awesome moment last night. I agree with you, and you can see O's face right there. I mean, he wants to fight that guy. I mean, I really think the caller was trying to be complimentary. I really do not think that he was trying to troll Ogeron. I think it's just one of these just die-hard LSU lifers that it doesn't matter who's in the seat, how they're performing. I can spend something positive for this program, and I'm going to do it to the head coach tonight. He's going to love me for it. And you can tell that's almost like the guy's point of view. I mean, he may be trolling. I might be wrong, but there's video of it that exists, and I watched it this morning, and I was like, bro, I think he's being, like, legitimate.
Sincere.
Like, I think he's being like, hey, coach, it was, I know you know this, but, I mean, happy to say we're finally over 500 for the first time since we pulled out of New Orleans as the national champs. And you can see he's like...
I didn't know that.
I can't
Good
believe
to know.
Chris Blair's like, you better run this son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Into like master control. Like,
Oh, dude, I wonder who's call screening because that's 2. That's 2.
whoever the call screener is, bro, is a liability. He's a liability, man. Yeah, right. I mean, that's 2 strikes, bro. That's 2 weeks in a row we've had to deal with your shit. You know what I mean? Like, you either start
$6.50
screening these people or we're planting every single caller on this. Everybody who works at LSU Sports Radio Network will be lined up to make phone calls next weekend. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this is Jacob Hester from Baton Rouge. I wanted to know, Coach, what's your favorite cane sauce? I'll hang up and listen.
Hey, I'm the fan.
Yeah, right. Hey, Coach, we got one from the audience. This is Chris Blair, Coach.
Wait, speaking
Wes says it was a troll job. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but listen for yourself.
Yeah.
We have it inside of our text chain. Post it. Troll or real? Just ask the question. Make it a poll question. Is he trolling or is he complimenting? Place your votes.
poor guy.
Who? Ogeron?
No, the guy that may or may not have been trolling. Like if he was being
Find
nice.
him. What was his name?
Let's
Where's
find
he
him.
from?
We should get him on here. We should call him up.
Just be
and
one
ask him.
question. Yeah.
Should we take calls?
We
Yes.
We can take calls.
We can,
Man.
y'all.
What an experiment it would be.
we could do it.
Let's do it.
I'm taking one phone call this morning. Give me the number, Katie. What's the number? This is a 225
number?
area code. This
oh,
number.
that number?
Here, plug it in
Hold
here.
on, I have to find it. I don't even
It's
know
charged.
that number. You asked me for that recently.
How do I find out my own number?
There's like in
You know where it is? It's on the website.
no, that phone.
Ah.
That's different.
Okay.
That's different than our sideline number.
Wow. Two phone operation.
Can we take a little break and then find the
Yeah.
number? Come
Give me
right back.
45 seconds.
Okay.
Numbers are good. Stay right there, though. Stay there.
Stay
Don't
there,
go anywhere.
y'all. We're
Don't
gonna
go
give y'all
anywhere.
the number.
Daily over here, we're brought to you by GoFlow, Ivy, and Spa. You see the shirt? Get over and make your appointment before the weekend to get your energy up. GoFlow, Ivy, and Spa. GEAUX Flow, Ivy, and Spa. They're online at goflowiv.com. Ask them about their memberships, 3-month, 6-month, and annual membership packages available. They are Baton Rouge's premier medical spa specializing in IV hydration treatments with vitamin infusion. Online, GoFlowIV.com. GoFlowIV.com. We'll be right back with our phone number here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered every day by Go Chevrolet.
Every bunker ride is furiously dialing.
True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU, bluewater.com. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Stop in and see the crew. Saw Nick Richard swimming around the bunker this morning. Shout out to Nicky over there at Go Chevrolet, GEAUX Chevrolet.com. Store this into your contacts list. This is the Jordy Culotta Show. JC Show is 225-229-7741.
Is this wrong?
No. This is good.
Is this going to be bad?
This is good.
Call
This is
anytime.
good.
I'll take it.
Anytime. Just so y'all know, this is a
We are
show phone
always
that stays.
open.
We're not.
I'll
We're
take
not
always
the
always
thing.
open.
I'll take the thing
We
and
don't
put it in
have
my
the phone
pocket.
with us at any time. It stays connected to our equipment.
225-229-7741. There's a huge risk reward to this.
There is.
We're
I
still
love
not
how
sure
excited
what
you
it
are.
is.
Enormous. So it rang when we called in the break.
It did.
It buzzed. Okay.
It did. So who's going to call?
So the risk reward here is that you own this call. You
Well,
name the
what do we-
topic.
okay, they're
you have a
naming it?
question. You have a question. We'll go back and forth. If it's bad, that's it. This is only one call. This is going to determine on how we take calls into the future. This one call, everything rides on this one phone caller. Whoever gets in at 225-229-7741.
If y'all screw this up, the rest of the bunker's gonna hate you. So,
but we'll probably take calls tomorrow either way, so it's all good. No pressure on anybody. Anybody dialing in yet?
No.
Wow.
That's what I'm
Do we need to plant callers?
I'm wondering if it works.
Do I need to get Kelly to call?
Yes, somebody call.
Alex says he's nervous watching this mess. How do you think we feel, Alex?
I feel nothing. I've been in this hot chair so many times at this point. You're just immune to failure.
Is this not happening?
I don't know. Call it.
How embarrassing.
Well, I told you it might not work.
225.
We got a call from Georgia. You just want to put him on?
Yeah, put him on, bro. Let's go to the phone line. Sponsored by Metropolitan Health Group. We go to the phone line to Georgia. Hello, you are live on the Jordy Culotta Show. What's your name?
Hey, Jordy, this is Jack Carpenter.
Yes, Jack!
Jackie Boy, first
What's
call.
up, Carpo?
Yes, sir.
Famous pickup basketball player back in the day. I hear beeping.
We got another call coming in. It's hot now.
Y'all got
Jack,
more calls
where
now?
are you at? Are you in Georgia now?
No, I'm
Okay.
from Georgia, but
Okay.
I live in Charlotte.
I didn't know that, bro. I didn't know that. All right, this is a radio show. Nobody cares about our personal lives. Ask me something
Yes,
that
sir.
we can get going.
All right, real topic.
All right.
Should we switch from the traditional white jerseys at home or switched back all the way to purple for all home games and white away games?
Jack, for the life of the callers, you passed the test. We'll take calls. Thank you. It's great to hear from you, buddy.
Do it.
That's good, Jack.
When are you coming down to Baton Rouge? What game?
I'm trying to get down for Florida and maybe A&M, so we'll see.
Look us up. Get in touch with us.
Yes, sir.
Later,
I'll
buddy.
give you a call.
All right, man. There is Jack Carpenter checking in. I think that they should go back to the purple. Now, the purple is too hot in some of the early months, like the September months that they play. I've heard that that's kind of been the pushback.
Wait, why didn't you answer this with him on the phone?
Because we got people rolling.
yeah,
out.
we're rolling now.
He'll
We're
take your
rolling
answer
now.
off the air.
I thought we would have a conversation with him about it.
You want me to
That's not how
call
it
this
works.
other guy back?
No.
That'd be wild.
No. But now we have the. But now it works.
It works.
I
Thank you,
feel
Jack.
like we should. I feel like we should take
Wait.
another one. That was cute.
Yeah, sure. Call on in.
That went well.
Do
Yeah,
you
good.
think you really want them to go back to purple? That is absolutely a non-starter.
What do you mean?
They can't wear purple at home. That's the whole bring the magic back.
I
with
know.
everything.
I know.
You
I
disagree
just
with the caller. You have something wrong with you.
No, I like alternate uniforms once a year.
Oh, for sure, once a year.
Once a
But
year.
he was saying
For
we're purple at
mainstay.
home every time.
I'm with you.
No
I'm with you.
chance.
Yeah, I'm with you.
LSU is a white jersey school.
It's just too clean.
And yeah, it looks too good.
It's too
Okay.
clean.
The purples are a good change of pace, though. I
Good to hear
appreciate
from
when
you,
they
Jack.
when they do it. But no,
Good to hear
no
from you,
chance.
Jack. Look at Jack in the bunker. I'll hang up and listen. All right, we're off to a great start.
Yeah, that was
We're off
good.
to a great start.
This is good. Should become a new segment.
Yeah, it could.
We didn't do
As
mail
long as
time.
everybody behaves themselves. Well, this is our mail time then. Live mail time.
LSU's got to be wearing white this week, right?
Mississippi State's doing a white out, so I don't know who gets
So
first. They
no.
get first pull.
Absolutely, they do.
So if they were to go, if they want to avoid what happened at Auburn, Penn State Auburn, where
Well-
Auburn went all white for the white out, then Mississippi State would go, we're going to wear all white, and then LSU would be forced to, go into the bag of tricks, maybe pull up the purple. I don't know what they would do. You can't go white on white. It's impossible.
No, that
Can't
would
know
be-
who's
For
who.
LSU?
Yeah, who's who?
No.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
And you
Weird.
can't have two white tops either.
That's what I'm saying.
No, that would force LSU to wear purple for back-to-back weekends.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about it, LSU has worn purple at Mississippi State before.
Isn't there a
The opening game of the 2007 national championship season, they went to Mississippi State and wore purple because I think that was because of that. Because they had done something with Mississippi State where LSU has to send a letter to everybody on their home schedule and say, at home, we wear white. Will you bring your home uniforms to play us? Because usually the Dart team is the home team. And LSU wears white, obviously, throughout every game. So they have to let people know to wear. And I think Mississippi State either was like, no, we're not doing it, or something to the effect of made them LSU wear purple in
I think
in Starkville.
this has something to do that goes back to the annals of time. I remember Hannegriff talking about this on air that I believe it's Mississippi State, but they had a problem with the AD and the hiring of a coach, and something went awry back in the day to where Mississippi State is absolutely middle finger, like, no, we're
gonna mess with you at every turn.
we're never going to agree
Yeah.
to these terms. So I'd imagine that has something to do with it if I have the right school, but I know LSU and SEC school have a problem with the white jerseys, and it's very petty. But I mean, hey, if you get to call the shots.
Yeah, I love petty in my college football.
Yes,
though.
that's what it's all.
I love
all
pettiness
about.
in my college football rivalries. Like I saw Notre Dame didn't let Purdue bring their drum into the game last week.
It couldn't fit.
Dude, it was 7 feet tall.
That's
You can't
dumb.
find us a door at Notre Dame Stadium that you can fit a 7-foot drum in. You know, but I'm here for it. I like it. Keep your drum outside. Sorry, you can't bring it in. Are you kidding? No, I'm not.
Drum 7 feet tall.
It's the biggest drum in the nation.
Sweet.
That's weird.
It's about 40.
Cool.
Right?
They just got ran off the field.
I know.
I think they actually played him close.
Did they?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Are we going to take another call or no?
If somebody calls in, we'll take it.
If it rings, we'll answer
I
it.
mean, come on, y'all.
We know
y'all
it
have the
works.
number.
If it rings, we'll answer it.
Speaking of, Lloyd and I were talking yesterday, Jordy, about the bet. What the bet should be between us, and we came up with, if Mississippi State wins, you dress like Mike Leach, possibly like a pirate, and
Okay.
if LSU wins, I dress like Coach O.
And rip her shirt off.
I mean, that could be dangerous for you.
I already have it planned.
What are you gonna do?
Oh, I'm not.
Are you gonna look over your shoulder the whole? You look over your shoulder the whole show? Because O's uni is khakis and coaching shoes and a whistle.
I think it's no shirt.
No
it's
shirt.
just a real uni,
I
right?
mean, that's what I'm saying. Khakis, a whistle, and coaching shoes.
And a nice tan.
And I wore a watch.
Yeah.
How about that? I mean,
some oil.
That could be a great Halloween costume.
It
I'm
absolutely.
Coach O and show up like looking like Greg Louganis in a speedo, a speedo and a whistle. Who are you? I'm Coach O.
Coach O.
Yeah, right.
You go to the tanning bed 18 times in 2 days. I need to really blister.
Yeah, right. I'm pumped up with more hormones right now than a pregnant chick. I mean,
So, are you agreeable to this?
sure, I'll dress up like a pirate.
Because last time when we bet on the baseball series and you were going to ring a cowbell and you did not follow through on the bet.
Like,
Why, did y'all win?
Yes, Jordy.
Yeah, hand it here. I'll read the damn
No,
cowbell,
no,
bro.
no, no, no,
Jeez.
no. We're talking about a new bet here.
Okay.
Are you agreeable to dressing up?
Sure. I
And
mean,
vice versa.
yeah, like a pirate. What's that? A hook on a hand and a bandana?
I don't know. We haven't really come up with
I mean,
it
you
yet.
could just get the Halloween store is open.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You have to do like the pants. I'm sure Noah has one from the Bus Brothers.
He definitely
Got
does.
to. Has
And
to.
you will have to ring a cowbell.
Whoa.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Put
What do you mean, whoa?
put the cowbell on your hand like a pirate's hook. I just don't. The acoustics of the room aren't allowed for it.
I love, though, how Brody Miller was like, no, I love that sound. That's my favorite sound. What do you mean?
I forgot that he covered Mississippi State.
Yeah, Clarion Ledger.
Dellinger's a Mississippi State alum.
Mm-hmm.
I do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
He
love
rings
it.
his rings cowbells to sleep. All right, so we
so-
dress.
so
So,
we're
we're
agreeable.
dressing up like the coaches.
Yeah.
Okay, it could be a lot worse.
It could
I mean,
be a
you're
lot
on the
worse.
bat. You're the loser on the deal.
I know, but I already came up with it, and it's so funny,
I
right?
mean-
It's so good, and I think it will be my Halloween costume as well.
Well, it should be.
And we
I
gotta
mean-
do. It's got to be a Monday too, because then the bit loses its steam. So you
dang,
got to be
well,
ready
then,
for
like-
Oh no,
Monday.
you got to. I mean, I think you almost have to do it like Sunday night with BJ Ojulari.
No, you got to go live.
Oh God, no.
Arr, DJ.
Walking into.
It's like, yeah,
Oh,
well, bro, you know
no.
what? Keep this NIL deal.
Yeah. Last week was cool. This is weird.
Leading the country in sacks right now, bro. Things are going good for me. I don't need to be doing this shit with my brand right now.
I'm actually
I gotta
going
get on
pro.
Amazon and start ordering then.
We got to talk to. No, speaking of NIL, York.
Yes,
That's cute.
that's a great signing.
Did you know he had that personality? Because it came
Yeah.
out in the commercial. I
I
didn't know he
did.
was like that.
He and Avery Atkins and two other people did that, where they kicked the ball onto the jet ski. The guy was on the jet ski, and they kicked it at the camp last summer. And we got in touch, and that video like went viral, where it was like a snap, hold, place kick, and they kicked it to the dude on the jet ski, like over the shoulder.
Was
It
he
beautiful.
driving it?
No, he was full throttle, bro.
Catches it?
Catches it. Boom.
Y'all better win all your games.
Yeah, I mean, like, and you could see in the video, like these cats are fun, man. They're having a good time. Like they're cutting up on the lake and having a good time. And we talked to him in that process, and he was just easy. You know what I mean? He's very personable. He's easy to talk to. Had a good personality. And I mean, if you recall, we were debating on who they were going to send to SEC Media Days, and I was like, I'd send Cade York. Because I was like, because it was Stingley was definitely going. I mean, he was the face of the team. But after that, it was like a lot of discussion. Deculus, it seemed, I mean, that's an easy one because he played the most games. And at the time, I thought that they were sending 3 like they had done in years past, but they just did 2 players per team due to the COVID mandates. But I thought that Cade York would be an obvious choice of somebody to bring over because, I mean, not only is he an All-American, you know what I mean? Like he's a great player, but he's got good personality. I mean, he's got good
That's
bullshit.
what you want there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got somebody who can tell a story and intrigue you and not tell you all the secrets. You know, I mean, not tell you really what's going on.
And that's what you usually get with like special team guys because McAfee's the same way. If
Yeah.
you saw him on the Monday night broadcast, like he came over and it absolutely like took over the stream because they're around football people all of the time, but they're also with that little group. Like even more so where they're like, we don't do anything. Like we practice for like, how long can you kick a football? Like we don't have to do anything else. So we kick for 2 hours. Practices are 4 hours. So all they're doing really is bullshitting with everybody else and try to keep people loose. So you can tell like usually the special teams guys have great personalities.
Pat McAfee has changed the game.
Yes.
Totally. Completely. I mean, he has signed 3 7-figure deals in 3 industries. I mean, we understand that, right? I mean, he signed $1 million deal with the NFL as a punter. He signed $1 million deal in TV with ESPN, and he has signed $1 million deal in entertainment
With FanDuel.
with what he's doing right now with FanDuel. I mean,
And he works for SmackDown.
And he owns all of his content. He
That's
is
amazing.
totally in control of everything he does, and he's even versatile enough where he can even go back onto ESPN, like the Mannings had him on Monday night.
He's been on game day before, and then, like his personality just totally takes over whatever he's doing. He's unencumbered and he's very comfortable in his own skin. Like when they had him on game day, he's jumping off of boats and doing belly flops. They're just like, this show has gone off the rails, but it's perfect.
I mean, his relationship with Aaron Rodgers.
Every Tuesday.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a regular with him who comes in there and very much like opens up. It's not this, you know, like,
Buttoned up.
yeah, it's not this.
No, they're drinking scotch and it's like at 11 a.m. and he's like, I mean, I already, I did my stuff for the day. We're good.
I love that.
So,
I love Aaron Rodgers.
really,
I do.
I want to like
I want
him.
him to come to the
I do
Saints.
too.
I want him to
I
come
do
to
too.
the Saints.
I want to like him.
You don't.
I feel like I would like him.
There's just so much drama around him, and he seems like somebody that wants no drama, but consistently has drama. So it
Well,
seems
he
like
won't let the
yours
drama
would
die.
No, he doesn't let it die.
Seems-
He wants it.
Yeah, so that
wants
to
it.
me is somebody that is almost encouraging it.
Yeah, he thrives off of that.
Yeah, it's like the girl that's like, no, I'm easygoing. I don't like drama. And then she's in every group text, and
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, we can all circle around this and point back to you.
Right, right.
I'm cool. I like to hang with the guys.
I mean, I'd love it if he was in New Orleans for a couple
That'd be
years.
cool.
I don't think he would be nearly as dramatic if he were here. He would be very comfortable with Sean Payton.
That would be more about football, right?
Right. Well, he understands like there's an offense out there for him that he would be like, all right, I get it.
I'm with you. I mean, he's been difficult the last couple of weeks, last couple of months. You know what I mean? It's almost like he's trying to force himself out. But I mean, your contract's up after this year. You're done.
It just always builds. And then he's a big I told you so guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he
totally
likes
is.
to lose a
He's
little
a big
bit.
FU guy.
Yeah.
You know?
That
Which
list
is why him and
long.
Sean Payton would be just mass murderers. You know what I mean? Like, I hate him too.
You want to compare lists?
Let's kill him.
No.
You want to compare
You know
lists?
what I mean? Like,
It'd be a good
I hate that
bet.
guy too. Let's hang 80 on him.
McCarthy, Dallas, hate him.
Yeah, right. I mean, just everybody. I mean, Sean McVay, that little shit. They say he's the next coming to me.
He's taking my place.
Look at old Chris Courtney in the huddle. the bunker.
My uncle.
Is
Wait,
that?
is it really?
Dad? no.
Are y'all not related? Okay, I
a
thought
lot
you
of
were being
Courtney's out
serious.
there. The old Irish.
I don't know a lot of Courtneys, like last name Courtneys. I
You
only know
should.
you.
They're all
I
around.
only know y'all.
Oh, we grew up. There's some Courtneys in Baton Rouge.
They're around.
Yeah.
I guess
There's
I
a lot.
didn't
There's a
grow
lot
up
in like Louisiana. I always get.
there.
Oh,
Yeah.
you really no.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very common last name.
Yeah, I don't get that. My last name's not very common.
No, we don't even know how to say it still.
Yeah, I know.
What's your maiden name?
Anderson.
I think that's common.
Katie Anderson.
Yeah.
Mrs. Anderson. The Matrix.
And then my first married name is Arnold. I've always been an A. Never changed my monogram.
Wow.
Katie.
Hey.
That's why you get it.
That's why I do that. There you go.
You
Okay.
should, you should hyphenate all of them.
I should.
Hey, Alligator. All right, everybody have a great day.
Well,
Disappointed we didn't get any more phone calls.
I know.
That's weird.
Why y'all? Somebody said they were scared to call
Scared of
in.
what?
Somebody
Scared of
said,
you.
Somebody
Scared of
said
me.
their work was too loud. I mean, we have
people
a
are
few
at
minutes.
work.
Somebody could call in with a real question. Like, surely y'all have a real question.
Put us on the phone with the boss. See if we can get you a raise.
For real.
Let me negotiate.
Yeah. Let me talk to him.
What do you even do?
Right.
What
What
about,
are you wearing right
People
now?
are writing in their questions, though, because they don't want to call, so we can talk about that.
They can text us.
Alex says, I'm not calling, but I have a real question.
Oh, they can text.
Yes, you can
You
text.
can text,
Yeah,
y'all.
you can text in. With Andre Anthony out, who do y'all think steps up as a defensive leader now? As a leader on that group? That's a good question. You would think somebody like Glenn Logan, somebody maybe like Joe Evans on the defensive line who's got some experience. But as far as a veteran goes, maybe Jay Ward on the back end who you get back this weekend. I mean, BJ Ojulari, Ali Gay, as BJ said on Sunday night, has really stepped forward as a leader this offseason, this fall.
Oh,
Okay.
Y'all.
Patch him through.
Who
I
was
would
it?
say, why can't Andre Anthony still be a leader? He's not like he left the team. He's not
No,
dead.
he can
He's
be.
still out there.
He's talking about somebody on the field.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's patch him through.
Baton Rouge, there you
I
go.
love how we're not
What's your name? Where are you
screening
calling from?
John Quaid calling from Hammond. How are y'all doing today?
Hey.
John Quay from Hammond. How you
John
doing,
Q.
Johnny boy? What we talking
Yeah.
about?
Let's talk about a little UFC. We don't talk about a whole lot on the show.
All right,
We
what
don't.
you got?
UFC 266, great fight card. Nick Diaz returns.
Diaz, is it? Diaz.
That's right. That's right. Coming back to fight Robbie Lawler. A Legends kind of fight going on.
Who's the favorite? Who's the favorite?
I would imagine Robbie Lawler. I don't have the odds in front of me, but I'd imagine Robbie Lawler would be the favorite. Nick Diaz, his first fight in a while. So
Is this the same
It's
one that?
Saturday, right? This happened Saturday?
this Saturday, Saturday
Yeah.
night. So
Is this the same
Lines up with
Diaz that went against
no, this is
McGregor?
the brother.
Oh my
This is
God,
the
there's
brother.
two.
Older brother. Yeah, there's two.
John, do you think that there's enough people within this listening audience that care about this sport? I'm asking you for real.
In our audience, probably so.
Do you
I-
think
I
that we
would
should
imagine.
bring somebody into this show that covers it? That we bring in maybe once every other week, once a week, to just give us a UFC update?
Maybe so. Let's let the chat decide.
Would you be a candidate?
I think so.
All right, buddy. All right, we'll throw your name in the hat. There's a beep.
Another call.
All right, John. We're gonna put it out to the chat. If we get the majority in return, we'll start covering it once a week. And you're the leader in the clubhouse, so stay in touch.
What about your boy for the UFC club?
Thanks, John.
Thank you, Johnny. Who?
That we had
Gabe?
on? Yeah.
He's too busy, bro.
Okay, new caller on.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Lloyd's dad.
Oh, you exist.
Yes, I
Are
do.
you in surgery right now?
He's got the mask
No,
on.
I'm actually playing a game on a computer.
Okay.
At
Life of the
work.
doctor.
That's right.
It's my MD.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I do.
Minesweeper's basically surgery.
No, I just couldn't let y'all spin in the wind, so just call in and
Thank
tell you
you.
how much I really enjoy the show.
Thank you, Doc.
Yeah, for sure. The only thing, the question I have is that why, when you introduce who's in the bunker in the morning, you always leave Lloyd out.
Well, I don't leave him out. I say Lizzie.
Lizzie, yes. I've been
Lizzie?
rebranded.
Oh, okay.
I say, I'm sorry. I'm a nickname guy, Doc.
Aw, I love that you're
okay.
taking up for Lloyd, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, I have
Papa
to,
Bear coming in.
otherwise he might destroy property.
Hey, easy, Doc. Doc, these are conversations for off the air.
I'm a negotiator.
No, we appreciate your music help on the show as well.
Sure, yeah, I'm going to work on something else and make it better.
Okay.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you,
Boss.
Doc.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. See ya.
Have a good one.
Thank
All right, man.
you.
You too.
Bye.
Sophie's going to call in next from school. Mom, I need you to bring me.
I feel sorry for y'all. I'm calling to make sure y'all don't look like assholes anymore.
I know, that was awesome.
You're just flailing in the wind, for God's sakes. This is Lloyd's dad.
Sounds like Lloyd's in charge of this thing. Y'all are spinning in the wind.
That was amazing.
Why don't you introduce my son as his name?
It's his birthright.
Make sure and like and share the post. We're getting out of here. I got to head to Mandeville for a meeting.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, bro.
Hell yeah. Well, we made it.
Yeah, we got
made it.
2 cancellations to make
there.
it tonight. It's pretty impressive.
It
good.
is.
That's good. That's
It
good.
is. Thanks, y'all, for calling in and interacting with us. This is fun.
Go Chevrolet drives and powers us every day. We'll be back.
Don't be weird and call and text all night.
Do it.
Don't be
you
weird.
can. It'll be in the studio. Nobody will pay
I
attention
might
to
take
it.
it home with me.
You might.
I know I talked about Kayshawn being here yesterday for booty calls. At some point, he will be here today. Just stay in touch with us on social media. We'll let you know when it's going to drop. Everybody have a good Thursday. It's another beautiful day outside, man. Enjoy it.